What's up, guys? It's Wheezy here, and welcome to episode 20 of Pay to Glory. I can't believe we're at episode 20. At the start of the year, I would have been happy, getting to 20 episodes for the whole year just because I thought it was going to be so hard to start doing this. But we've had some runs where we've been able to get some episodes out. I apologize, it's been about a week since episode 19, but I've just had a really busy week in my personal life as well. So a lot been going on, but it's been a crazy week in FIFA. So Team of the Year obviously is here, as you guys are seeing on the screen. I was looking at the players. The only real players that kind of interest me, I guess, from my standpoint, David De Gea would be one, but I wouldn't break the bank for a keeper. I just think keepers are kind of a dime a dozen. This year, they almost all play the same, and I wouldn't want to spend crazy amounts of money on a keeper. Also, the Kevin De Bruyne and N'Golo Kante, but they look like they're going to be crazy expensive. So I just wanted to check out the actual cost of these players. See what they're going for on the market. So David De Gea, I haven't really looked at a lot of these guys. So David De Gea looks like he's going for about 1.2. That's not too bad actually for him. If you have the coins to afford, that's pretty reasonable for that card. I'm expecting Dani Alves to be the cheapest one on the entire team. Excuse me, 550. Yeah, that's probably where I expected him to be. I mean, I'm expecting these guys to drop even more. So right now it's Thursday. They're going to release more prime icons today, I'm believing. So the names that I'm hearing are Ronaldinho, Lothar Matthäus, Lev Yashin, and Marco van Basten. So of course for me, you guys know that I want Henrik Larsson, so that would be sad for me because I really want Larsson. I'm just hoping he comes out. I was actually predicting it to be Ruud Gullit just because Ruud Gullit is the guy that announced his team a week ago on Thursday, and he said, a week from now is when Team Gullit or the Gullit gang is going to be launched. So I was really expecting Ruud Gullit to be entering into the fray in terms of his prime SBC, but I don't know. A lot of things have leaked this year, and I don't know if it's going to be him just because so many guys are actually saying Ronaldinho looks like it. And Ronaldinho's a cool one. I probably won't get Ronaldinho. He's one of those guys that to me, like Thierry Henry, great card, but very much overhyped just in the fact that he's got so many fans. And that's not a knock against it. It's not saying that the card's not worth it, but his price is definitely going to inflate just because of the name value of Ronaldinho. So I don't necessarily recommend getting him if you're just looking for a pure meta team. I think there's better players. I think you could even get one of the central ones probably for cheaper than this one's going to be worth. But so many people just want to remember Ronaldinho for him in his prime. And I know that that's just going to take that card and drive it right up through the roof. The funny thing this year, actually, sorry to take a little bit of a different right turn there, is I've noticed, in the past FIFAs, Team of the Year drove a lot of it. And having Messi and Ronaldo in La Liga would always be the most expensive players. But with everything that EA has done over the last couple of years with the Premier League and the Players of the Month, it's driven guys to make Premier League teams, because Premier League now there's so many more cards available, so many special cards, and you can really get such meta teams that the cost of these players have actually gone up crazy. So look at the cost of Kevin De Bruyne. He's at 2 million plus, whereas I think Luka Modric is only at what, 1.5? For a really, really good card, basically the same card, if not. They're a little bit different. I guess De Bruyne is faster. He's got better shooting. But still, I think that a lot of that's just driven by the fact that he's in the EPL. Look at this card, 2.5 million. That's crazy. That N'Golo Kante, 2.5 million. Kevin De Bruyne, 2.5 million. These are cards that, they're going to come down a little bit. But like I said, all of these cards are going to come down. You can almost get, for another million, you could get Lionel Messi's Team of the Year. For N'Golo Kante to Lionel Messi. That's crazy. This card has actually been a really interesting one. I did not expect Harry Kane to get a card. Wow, 1.8 million. That's way higher than I expected him to be. I was thinking he was going to be 1.5, between 1.5, somewhere in there. But 99 shooting is pretty ridiculous. But still, almost 2 million for this guy. That is insane. But yeah, like I said, now it's Thursday, so you're going to see a lot of these cards, a lot of people saving their packs for when the full Team of the Year is coming out, and people are just going to be going crazy on opening all those save packs, and hopefully they'll have some pack promotions. I might consider putting a little bit of money. Hopefully I can just pack one. But there isn't really too many guys from this team, thankfully, that I really, really want. I had Kevin De Bruyne's Team of the Group stage card, which you guys know. and he was fantastic. But the issue with him is he's a cam, and I have Maradona at cam already, so I don't really need another cam. And I was watching reviews on him. I believe Marshall did a review on him and some other guys, and he's just again, he's a cam. He's not a box-to-box midfielder. This card, this N'Golo Kante, would be a much better box-to-box guy. 90 pace, 93 defending, 94 physical. He's the type of guy, I mean, you probably want him as a defensive midfielder, but even as a box-to-box midfielder, he's much better. Whereas this De Bruyne, if you're not using him as a cam, he's not really going to be that useful. Even in a 4-3-2-1, you know, one of those central midfield positions, you're going to want him in the attacking position. So a really interesting week for team of the year. I mean, the full team's going to be out today, so it's going to be interesting to see what happened with the prices. But also the prime icons are out, and the team of the week came out. So I did 2 of the team of the week SBCs. You guys are probably going to see them. So I'll show you guys my second team. So you guys have obviously seen my main team, the Weezy Army. This is my second team. That Iker Casillas, we did that one. We did the Carlos Puyol loan card. So that one's going to disappear, and this one will probably go by the wayside too because I won't be able to fit him in. But Jesse Lingard, and we are actually able to do 2 of the SBCs yesterday. So I did one where I got some nobody. I can't even remember the guy's name actually now, but he was just one of those discardable SBCs. So I was going to do another one because they're both untradeable, and then do a tradable one and hopefully pack at least someone good. But in the second untradeable one, I packed this guy, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. This is actually one of the cards that I wanted. He only goes for about 30k. Decent card stats, but the big thing is he moved to a central position, so he moved to a center mid. I wanted to try him out. I put a backbone on him so it jacks up his passing, his defense, and his physical. As you guys can see, he scored 3 goals in 2 games. I just played them offline. I just use this team in squad battles, so this team is actually a lot of fun to use. Oxlade-Chamberlain, this guy's terrific. Jesse Lingard, I highly recommend, if you didn't get the chance to do the Futmas one, do the or go get the Inform. The Inform is just as good. It's a little faster, a little bit less shooting, but look at that, 31 goals in 31 games, 21 assists. He just lights it up. He's so rapid when you put a Hawk on him. I mean, he'd probably even be better if you put a Hunter on him, but as a Hawk, he's just so quick. His acceleration is awesome, and his sprint speed's great, and he's actually a lot stronger than you'd think. So he is a card that has come a long way in the last couple of years for FIFA. Vindelim's been okay. He's an average midfielder, nothing to write home about. And both of these guys are just way overpowered. If you're looking for 2 meta strikers, go get Rashford, go get Vardy, both of them. Crazy good. You could probably put a Deadeye on either of them, but Vardy already had 79 shooting. I just needed a little bit of a boost for him, so I put the Hawk on him. But the Deadeye on Rashford has made him just super clinical in the box. Used Dembele before in my team. In my main team, Van Aanholt's average, Koscielny's decent, and Bellerin is poor defensively, but he's rapid. So Jesus is on the bench. I use him as a super sub for both teams. I use him for my online team as well, but you guys can see here, this is just my main team here. So what we did is we played a couple of online games and then a couple of seasons games. So why don't we get into the actual gameplay? Alright guys, so let's jump into some of the gameplay here. Before we get into the actual games, there's just a couple kind of menu things that I went through. So you guys have seen the squad battles. I've hardly played squad battles. I think I only played the featured squad in last week's game. Not this Ronaldinho one that was from this upcoming week. But I have been hardly playing squad battles at all. And the biggest reason for that is just the computer's just boring to play and the rewards aren't really worth it. Unless you're really going full all in on squad battles. I just play the feature one just to get a couple packs in here and there and maybe a couple extra coins. It's like one game, you might as well just do it for fitness. But the funny thing is seeing that Ronaldinho squad, it looks scary if I came up against it on paper, but playing against the computer, I actually would prefer playing that team than a team that had bronzes and no chemistry, because for some reason in squad battles, the teams that play the best, in my opinion, are the ones that have no chemistry. They just play absolutely out of this world. I don't know if that's conducive to playing online as well, but it's just very frustrating to play those teams because I think the computer just puts them on high aggression and they cause turnovers and actually score more goals. So I'm more afraid of teams that aren't really well put together and that have a lot of red links and 60 chem than I am with a team that's full of icons and perfectly put together. It's really idiotic, but that's just one of the many reasons that I've pretty much stopped playing squad battles at all. As you guys are seeing here, some of the rewards, it was just 2 gold packs and a couple thousand coins. The gold packs, I'm not really expecting very much from them. All I'm getting out of them that I'm hoping for is essentially chemistry styles, because those actually pay off. And you're seeing there that Dele Alli card we sold for 380k. So the reason for that was, I guess with Harry Kane being the player of the month, Harry Kane was he his price was just going up through the roof on his special card. So you need an English player, and a lot of guys were going into, I guess, the journey and doing the journey and trying to get that player to fit. So EA caught on to this really quickly. Of course, this is the one thing that they just jump right on and actually fix, but they jumped on that, they fixed it, so you needed an English Tottenham player that was like a special card or whatever it was. And I guess for some reason Dele Alli still worked. So a lot of people were not wanting to pay 300 and 400k for whatever for Harry Kane. So Dele Alli's price just slowly went up and up and up to the point that it basically became the same amount as the Harry Kane special inform cards. So his price doubled. I ended up buying him for 190 a couple weeks ago. I didn't really want to get rid of him, but 380 is just too much that I couldn't pass that opportunity by. So we ended up selling Dele Alli. We can pick him up in the future if need be when his price drops back down. But 380k, I was over the moon with that. So let's jump into the actual games here. This was the first game we played. We played, I think it's 5 games in this episode. We did 1 online singles match, which you guys are seeing here, and then we had our 3 seasons games to close off our Division 4, and then we tail end that with another online singles match. So some really interesting games we came into. This was our first game, 4-3-3, very spammy. Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, and Marcus Rashford. Very overpowered striker combo there. Would leave you worried if you're playing against guys that really know how to use them. This opponent wasn't the strongest opponent, but he wasn't a terrible player by any means. You don't really know what you're getting with online singles, which is why I like to play them quite a bit, just because it adds a lot of variety. But this guy was one of those guys that's kind of an average player, and just like you're getting a lot of these, even, you're getting a lot of variety, but you're getting a lot of kind of average players that can still give you, a good match at this point in FIFA, because, you're not getting too many noobs coming in January. So as you guys see, one of the things that you'll probably notice really early on here is the camera angle. So I decided to change my camera angle for one really important reason. When I was playing on my default, not my default camera, but I usually play with tele broadcast. I like how zoomed in it is in terms of being able to kind of ticky-tack on my way through things. But the one issue that I was having was coming out of my back. So coming out of my own third, my players were having issues, or I was having issues, more importantly, seeing the players that were ahead of the play. I don't use the radar as much as I should. I don't find the radar to be really that helpful for me personally. And the radar is just kind of out of my sight lines, I guess. So I feel like I have to look down in order to get back, and because you're sometimes playing against guys that are so spammy, they're just in your face, you don't have a second to even look down at the radar. So my peripheral was kind of cut off in terms of being able to see what I should pass to, and I was giving the ball away a lot. I was hitting driven pass or pass, and then the defender would jump up, so I wasn't able to see who I was passing to. So that's one of the limitations with tele broadcast, in my opinion, is just the peripherals are kind of limited. So I decided to widen the camera out. And I apologize, I don't remember what the camera I was using here was, but it's just zoomed out. I went to, it was basically as high as possible, dropped it down as much as I could, and zoomed it in, so it still, gave me as close as possible for a really wide out shot. It helped in the sense that I was able to see the field better. Where I found it not to be useful was the fact that it was hard for me to dribble, because it was just harder to see because it was so far out. I wasn't able to kind of maneuver my way around. So as you guys can kind of see, it's probably not the easiest camera to kind of dribble in, because you can't see when it legs in, in your way, how close the guy is. Your depth is a little bit off. So I wasn't really that much a fan of it. So this is the only game we ended up playing with that I just thought I'd try it out for a game to see how it goes. But it wasn't something that I decided to do for a really long time. So as you guys are seeing here, this opponent wasn't the strongest in the world. He basically pulls it back to 3-1 in the 45th minute. My team was just playing like absolute gangbusters right off the jump. This guy's team, he basically would bomb down the wings and just try to whip in crosses. I think he was trying to go for some kind of long distance goals, and then once he realized he wasn't going to be able to score those, was just running down the wing, like I said, and trying to do some stuff. I froze this clip here because I wanted to show right when if you play it back, right when I froze the clip, that's when that ball came into Lacazette. And now what I've really started to do is use L1 a lot. So this is a pro tip that a lot of pros use. And I was always wondering, because I never used this before, that L1 feature. And I think I spoke about this in my last episode, but when that pass comes in, if you're in that final third, if I would have just passed and then passed it back to Maradona, my Lacazette might have made a move, but he probably would have stood there facing the ball. Hitting L1 allows him to pass and jump basically and sprint forward, so it just jumps into that space in behind. So that gave me that give and go and allowed me to play that ball in behind and essentially create that goal for Lacazette. It's a real useful thing to do. If you haven't incorporated it into your game already, I suggest doing it. It's just, like I said, it's a pro tip. You'll see almost every pro use it. It just shoots guys forward. The best players in the world, for the most part, usually use that. I see a lot of the French players using that, and everybody's flying forward. And not only does it, drive the defense back, but it also sends your guys in behind, and then more importantly, it just creates space through that midfield. And it kind of causes a lot of confusion for defenders, because defenders are sitting there trying to track runs, and if you're just shooting everybody forward, it's just harder for them to see what's going on. It seems to cause a lot more confusion, especially for guys that like to just sit in defensive shells and control the midfielder and just sit there and try to cut out passes. If you're shooting everybody forward, they start to get flustered, and just like there, shooting a guy in behind there, defenders don't really know what to do with it, and it just creates a lot more open space, and a lot of guys are a lot more available, so it gives you options to pass to and get those really easy goals. So this was one of those guys that didn't really know how to handle it at all. No offense to this guy, it's just his defense was a little bit weak. He had a lot of room, his defense wasn't sitting tight, so it was just a lot of space on the field, and that's exactly, for me as an attacker, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see a lot of open room, guys jumping up like that, and as you can see, I can just get in behind. It was quite simple here. So on this one, we just sprinted down the field, and then just tramped it over to Bakayoko. I think that's Bakayoko's only his second goal. He is, I'll go on record as saying this, he's the worst shooter I've ever seen in my life, and I didn't really notice this until I saw a Reddit post about a guy who said that he scored a hat-trick with Bakayoko, and I was thinking, who cares? What's the big deal about that? But I've had so many chances in the box with Bakayoko that he just doesn't even feel like he puts it on net. He'll just pussyfoot almost every shot. It's crazy how bad he is in front of goal. So now I respect that Reddit post a lot more. The guy who posted that, getting a hat trick with him, excuse me, is very, very challenging. So we ended up winning this game 6-2. It was just kind of a warm up. I like to do that if I'm going into a season's run. I like to go in and play just a single online match, one or two, just to kind of get my get the feel for the game again, because it's not good to come in cold, especially for the amount of sweat games that you'll be playing. The second game, unfortunately, the footage was corrupting, so I was thankful that I caught it at halftime, but I noticed when I was actually recording that my recording had froze, so it corrupted the first half, so I had to stop it and basically start it again. So that's why he missed that first half. We ended up scoring with Lacazette. The second goal was a little bit cheesy. I think I overran it, but his defender didn't tackle Lacazette, and I think that was, I was going to say it was a 45th minute, but it wasn't a 45th minute. So we passed it over and then just kind of sweated it a little bit with Lacazette, which you need to do against some of these opponents. This guy got away with a little bit of a cheese goal there, just kind of fired a shot off his standing foot like he wasn't even running into it. I think if you'll see in the replay here, I don't think he even stepped, oh, he did step into it, but just, a shot with Cavani that was just a seeing eye one. Those ones are really fluky. They're not super high quality chances, but they're just ones that happen here and there. So we end up getting another opportunity here. I thought I was just going to ice it, and I was absolutely in shock that Lacazette blundered that one. That was my fault, in all fairness, too. He should have put that in anyway, but I should have really just taken a touch, walked it in, and smashed it. But, what are you going to do? So this game was really tight, actually, right to the end. Courtois made a couple really, really good saves. I was panicking at the end because I thought I was just going to squander that lead. This guy was a very formidable opponent, and I didn't want him to make it 2-1. And towards the end of the game, I think I had a couple what I call professional fouls, just hacking down his guys because I didn't want to give up any odd man breaks. And then we just hit him on the counter. He was really pressing hard. Anytime he got the ball into open space, if I had a defender who was running him down from behind, I would just kind of slide tackle him cheaply. But I mean, those are the types of things you have to do, especially in seasons, in order to grind out games. I don't like to condone that, but it was what I needed to do, and eventually we ended up hitting on, like I said, on the counter and get the 3-1 win. So he was really pressing right at the end. It was a very tough win, but we have 3 games to get 2 wins in order to get out of Division 4, which, as you guys have seen for the past couple episodes, it's just the bane of my existence, Division 4. I don't know why. I'm just coming up against like the hardest opponents I feel like I've ever played in Division 4. I don't know what that's going to say about Division 3 and 2, but man, Division 4 is just painful. I feel like it's just this log jam of good players that just can't seem to get out of it, and they're just coming up against each other. So a really good game from Mojo Morris there. He gave me a real, run for my money. But this team feels like if I were to just play like a full 10 games with it now, I'm at the point where I can really earn a full victory or a full promotion from it. So we had a couple of those losses came very early on. So the second game, we just need 1 win from these last 2 games, and we come up against this guy, FC. What was it? Your mum, or your mom's FC, but FC Ink Slingers. When I saw this guy's team, one of the things that I really wanted to mention here was look at the composition of it. He has Gylfi Sigurdsson as his CDM. He's got Phil Jagielka and Michael Keane as his center backs on basic chemistry. He's got an off-Kim Giovinco, and he's playing in a 4-4-2 wide. Now, I looked this up because you guys are going to see a couple clips here. Gylfi Sigurdsson has 52 defending. He's his CDM. 37 interceptions, and Heung-min Son has 25 defense. So I just want you to remember those numbers. Those are absolutely abysmal type of numbers, but as soon as this game started, my guys felt weak. Off of that first shot, I had the opportunity to drive home a low-driven shot with Lacazette, and I know you guys are going to say that I'm just complaining and whining because I lost or whatever, but this game, it felt like I was just playing against the game, and I'm trying to show as many clips as I can to kind of show it. It just felt like I was battling the game here. Here, I wanted it to go. I wanted Griezmann to run into space, as you guys are going to see there. Rewind it and watch Griezmann's run. He runs, and then he cuts back so the defender can get into position, and then he starts his run. My first shot that I had at the very start of the game there, Lacazette running in, all I had to do was low drive it into the corner. He takes it with his left foot for some reason, and the defender comes in slide tackle, clears it automatically off the line. So these things were happening, and this was just one of those games that, I mean, you can say it's all in my head, but even here, that driven pass just automatically gives it away. So all these little things are starting to happen, and this was just one of those games. In the last game, these aren't happening, okay? In other games where the game's feeling good, these aren't happening. I just think it's not a coincidence that they all just happen to have happened in one time. So here's another opportunity. You guys are going to see where I'm trying to go with Maradona. Intercepted from behind by Gylfi Sigurdsson. Okay, what did I say he had for interceptions? 37 interceptions? Just Gylfi Sigurdsson, and he didn't control it. If you look back, it was Computer who was running that down and intercepted that pass. Okay, that slip pass would have gone through 10 times out of 10 to Maradona of all people, and like nothing was going in my favor in this entire game. So just thing after thing after thing, and there's another opportunity where I was going to get a shot away. Heung-min Son, again, not controlled by him. Heung-min Son automatically, 25 defending he's got, runs it down and gets the tackle in the last second. So these were just things that I was like, okay, and here's another one. I was trying to first time pass this. Look at the touch that he takes so the defender can get, or the opposition can get into position, and he takes it back and then passes it into the attacker. So it's just little crazy thing time after time after time, and then you'll just see, I just left all these clips in to see, look at the ridiculous touches, like Lacazette's touch there, and then of course he plays that through ball perfectly timed so Danny Rose can take it in stride. So it's just, this was, I know I'm a whiner here by saying this, but you're going to see like Lothar Matthäus, who's got great, he's got like 92 or 93 like shot power, like he's just got fantastic like shooting, and he was taking all of his shots with his left foot for some reason. So just time after time after time, just instance after instance. His goal, not taking anything away from it. It was a nice little play. Poor defending by me. I shouldn't have jumped up in the play. I was being a little aggressive there. So I'm not taking anything away from his goal. Of course, his player gets right in close, but slips a shot by. I think this was Giovinco who scored this too, an off-Kim Giovinco, but that doesn't matter, you know. Oh, that was Vardy, sorry. So I take that back. So piss and moan on my part, but He finishes that off. But here's just opportunities where, Lacazette should just walk in, drive that low driven. He doesn't even hit the net. It either pussyfoots it or hits the net. Another opportunity where I was expecting Maradona to just burst into space, but the defender ran that down, and then my attacker just ran perfectly in behind my player. He comes right down the field. Good play by him here. I was expecting that to get intercepted, and of course my player just lunges, so it takes him out of the play. Poor defending by me on the slide tackle. And then he whips us in. Good positioning by Courtois, but his Riyad Mahrez does a back heel finish across goal. So, what do you even say? This was one of those games that, like I said, I sound like a broken record here, but at this point, I wasn't even mad because I just knew in the first half when my guys were taking shots with their left foot that this was just not, I wasn't going to score in this game, and I just knew it. And this is, to me, one of the things that I get why people get irate at the game, they want to say fix FIFA, and they just get all angry at it, and there's a reason for it. You're coming in here trying to, there's enough time that I could potentially get back into the game, but that's not going to happen. Instead, I get one chance in the 90th minute, coincidentally, across his defender, driven, hammered home far post, that seeing eyes its way into the corner because of the 90th minute defensive AI drop and attacking AI raise. So that's going to fly in the 90th minute, but of course it's only going to happen when it's too little too late, right? I'm having opportunities where my guy's right in front of goal and has the chance to shoot it, and he'll absolutely squander it, or he'll come right in on the goalie and the guy will hit it with his left foot when he's predominantly right. Stupid things like that. So like I was saying, I get why people who play FUT Champs win. This wasn't really a game that I needed, so to say, it's just a season's run. It's annoying, but like I said, it's happened so often, so I'm like, what are you going to do? But the guys who play weekend league that need one more win to get up to elite or up to gold or top 100, and they come against games like that where they're just absolutely BS things happening left and right, I get why people get irate. Sometimes it just feels like you're just playing against the game. And not to take anything away from my opponent, he was a good player. He knew what he was doing clearly and how to, I don't want to say abuse the game tactics, but he obviously knew that using a team like that he didn't need to improve his team. He could put whoever he wanted, wherever he wanted, and his team was just built to kind of exploit the gameplay. It was just, that was just the way his team was made on purpose, and he was never going to lose that game. I guess we'll put it that way. You just look at the way his team's comprised, and again, not to take anything away from him, but he's in Division 4. He made it through 6 divisions with that squad. So what does that tell you about the need to actually create an intelligent team? So it was very just frustrating. So we finally come up against this last game. I've always said that I think Seasons has got that type of scripting in it where it forces you to play almost all your games if possible. So we come up against this guy, not a bad opponent. He had a 4-3-3 wide there, but he was just taking shot after shot after shot, and they weren't very intelligent shots. And that's not an insult, because he, as you've seen, all of these opportunities are his opportunities. I don't think I got anything. He was just hyper aggressive. He was rushing me, but every time he got the ball, he would just hit shoot as quickly as possible. I don't know if his shooting was, if he just didn't understand the game mechanics, or if he was trying to hit long shots. But my team, I don't want to say they were going through what I like to say, the scripting of when you lose games and they kind of play poor. But as you see there, he didn't take that touch inside. He took it around wide. You're going to see it on the replay here, the Griezmann. I wanted to just cut in and finesse it into the corner there, but instead he takes it around the outside. So watch this, the pass inside that comes, this is really poor play by me, but this pass inside, he takes the touch wide into the defender. I don't know why his defender didn't intercept it, but maybe he just didn't hit defend properly, or he didn't hit tackle. But thankfully I get that goal, so it felt like it finally opened things up for me. And call me a conspiracy theorist here, but my team started playing totally different after that. It felt like I kind of broke the momentum of the game, and he was just having so much harder time attacking. As you guys saw, he had about 13 shots right off the get-go, where he was just rushing me and just hitting shoot, 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 shoot. And I just couldn't get out of my own end, because I guess the game was viewing it as momentum that he had. So every time I would get the ball, I would hit, or he would hit shoot, I would get it, try to get out of my own end, and it would just give the ball away, and he would just rush down the field and hit shoot again. So he comes down the field here. Very frustrating goal that he scores here, but thankfully gets called offside. I didn't notice this at first. I was just so irritated by this because if you're going to watch, if you see in the replay, Leroy Sané comes down. I hit slide tackle. He auto skips it, and then I came down to tackle him again. So he skipped there. The guy didn't do a move. He just skipped it, and then I hit tackle. And my Danny Rose, I didn't show it there, but Danny Rose kind of stuttered, and before he finally got the pass away, gets the pass away, and then hits chip and actually scores a nice chip. Actually, the goal was scored nice, but like he shouldn't even have gotten that far. Like I was poor on my part to allow him to get that far up the field, but it was just so frustrating. So we came down here, we went on counterattack, and thank God I was able to get a goal here. Maybe a little undeserved because the guy, you know, had a lot of offense, especially early on, but his shot choices let him down. I think if he was more prolific in the area and was choosing better shot selections or like trying to get in closer and score more high percentage goals, he probably would have scored a couple and my team would have just fallen through the floor. But because he missed so many, I ended up getting a goal and the momentum of the game just totally changed, and I was able to just kind of hold him off until I was able to get a second one. So I'm not going to take like full credit for saying like, oh, I just totally owned this game. You know, this guy was a good opponent. He just wasn't a great finisher. So I'm not going to complain in the sense that we finally get out of Division 4. We did it in maybe the most stressful, the toughest possible way, going right down to the 10th game. You guys are going to see here 2-0. We get the 7,700 coins there, which is a nice little added bonus. But, you know, 5 wins. Was it 5 wins? What did we get here? 16 points. So 5 wins, a draw, and 4 losses. So it was a very stressful way of doing it, but we end up finally getting out of Division 4, and next time you'll see me, it's in Division 3, and then we come up against this one final opponent. I just wanted one more online game and just like an online singles match just to not have as much stress as needing to win. So these are another reason why I like to play the online singles, is I don't feel like there's as much stress. But when I saw this guy's team, I was thinking, wow, this guy's going to be a good opponent because his team is very intelligently put together. So El Shaarawy in form, second in form, I believe second in form McCarty. He has that Milinkovic-Savic in form. You know, a really good team that's really well put together. And then when I see a 4-3-2-1, it stresses me out too, because I always have a hard time against these formations in my formation, because my formation is very narrow and this formation plays incredibly narrow. 4-3-2-1 plays maybe the most narrow of any formation I've ever played against. It's just a very hard formation to break down. Thankfully, I was able to just bust through before he was able to get his bearings and smash a goal in with Maradona. Maradona is just so good. Like I don't think I can ever get rid of him. Unless I was for some reason able to do the Prime version, which I doubt I'll be able to because he'll probably be so expensive. By the way, the 4 Primes did come out, and they were the ones that we were thinking it was going to be, which was Ronaldinho, Mateos, which I was looking at Mateos' price because I love Prime Mateos, but he's like 2.5 million or something right now. So that's going to be really expensive, and I maybe could afford him if I sold mine and got rid of all my coins, but I don't know if it's worth the upgrade. But anyway, back into the gameplay. The guy tried to kick off, we intercept the ball, and then rushed right down, and then Griezmann gets a real slimy goal here. I feel bad for this guy in the sense that he didn't really defend it that poorly, but look at that. You know, his Koulibaly does nothing. I just basically passed it and just hammered one-time shot, and it just flew into the top corner. It wasn't really a deserved goal. Those happen against me all the time, so I'm not going to say that they don't happen, but, you know, I feel bad because, you know, this guy wasn't a bad opponent. If anything, you know, not to take anything away from the guy that I lost to, but this guy was a better opponent than the guy that I lost to. He played much more intelligent, kind of keep possession, patient build-up, patient attacking, high percentage goals. It was just, you know, I felt like I was playing the game. And I'm sorry, I know I sound like a big baby, but, you know, I just really felt like I was playing against the game, and the game beat me in that one. Whereas this game, you know, this guy might have felt like he was coming up against that in this match because, you know, he had a couple opportunities. That wasn't necessarily the best opportunity there. He kind of went low-driven from a tough angle there. But, you know, this was a really hard-fought game, and this was a tough guy to break down. You know, these aren't opportunities that are coming up like 10 times in a row. You're not just getting shot after shot after shot. You really have to break a guy like this down. He plays really narrow, really tough possession, and you guys can see here, you know, you're not scoring a lot of these goals. It's not like a goal fest. It's like a chess match against some of these guys. So these are the types of guys that I feel like probably deserved better results. But, you know, it's just who's going to come up a bit lucky. And as you guys can see there, I was able to break him down at the start of the second half and get that third insurance goal, which I really needed. But, you know, the game was just a real back and forth. It was a tug of war. It was a really fair game. And, you know, Griezmann, thank God he didn't bottle that, because I really needed that. Because this guy was, like I said, a really good player. And right off the bat, he just comes at me again. You guys can see, I think he started going ultra attacking because my team was having a harder time getting out of its own end. He should have hit first time there, but instead he took it a little too far wide, just, you know, making the angle a little bit tougher, so he squandered that opportunity. But these are opportunities that he could have, you know, very easily put away. Here's another one where I thought he had a goal here. I was just trying to desperately just hope that he wouldn't get that cross, but that terrible touch from Cuadrado, you know, really bottled that. His player did it. It wasn't necessarily something that he did, but he was able to try and get a half effort there. So, as you guys can see, I mean, like, this happens to other players. You know, this guy probably deserved a better result. A fantastic save there from Courtois. He's really been standing on his head. I really have nothing but great things to say about him. He lets the odd stinker in, but so does everybody. But this was the final play of the game. And I just want you guys to see what Danny Rose does here. This is just proof, if you needed anything, that defensive AI falls through the floor. We ended up getting the 3-1 win, but I'm going to go in at the end of the game, and I'm just going to kind of show you what happened with that, just because I found it very fascinating, that save right at the end. Anybody that ever questioned whether 90th minute cheese and 45th minute cheese exist, like, put this to bed. Not just this example, but there's countless examples, and I'm telling you, I've talked to a developer friend that I still have that works at EA, and I asked him about it, and he said that, yeah, it does exist. So the reason that it exists is to prevent ties. So as you guys are going to see there, the defensive AI, just the sliders drop down, and the offensive AI sliders go up. And the reason for that is they want to prevent ties. So just watch Danny Rose here. Like, the pass comes in, he takes it wide, he's shielding, fake shot, goes wide, and then he does a step over. But watch when he does the cutback here. I'm in great defensive position, and whoop, he just scoots over a little bit, allowing him to get in a great defensive position. So again, standing here defensive, didn't move him, just the defense, or the AI just automatically jumped him out of the way, so he would cut in and be able to get a scoring opportunity. Just standing, whoop, all right, go ahead. You know what I mean? No reason to do that. If anything, the ball was coming towards him, and he just jumps out of the way. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. So until the next episode, take care, guys. Peace.